Here is the shelter. A shelter. My shelter. Just thought I would show some things. Alright, been staying here for a couple of weeks, and so it's getting cold. That's why I got this Mylar. It's October, November. It's November now, so it's getting pretty chilly. It's got down close to freezing. It hasn't dropped below freezing, but it's gotten pretty close, so I kind of didn't want to, but I went ahead and, busted out the Mylar. These things are called emergency blankets. They're supposed to be used for a blanket, I guess, but never tried that. But they do work really good as fire reflectors and instant walls, and kind of wind block. So let's go through some things here. No big deal. Got the tarp, of course. Basic lean-to type structure, except I wanted some extra height in the back there, so I made a little wall there. Let me tell you, that was a lot of work. That was too much work, really. Cutting all them trees and hauling them up here, and it was a ton of work. We tied them. Each one is just sort of strangle knotted, That's how I like to tie. You can get it nice and tight, and if you just kind of strangle it on itself like that, kind of like a clove hitch. And I got, some different structural integrity going on here. Got these poles. It's just more structural integrity. Wrap it around there good and tight. Blah, blah, blah. Some extra structure there. I actually ran out of paracord. Got the clothes sort of drying out, getting some air, getting some sun, clean them a little bit. One thing thought I'd mention, I like to cut kind of a point so it kind of sticks in the ground, and then you kind of put my weight on it so it'll stick down in there. If it was just flat, it might slide, or you might accidentally kick it or knock it out or something. So I like to put a point on the bottom. Here I just, again, carved kind of a point and hammered it down in there with this block right here that I got. These stones, that's kind of my stove, I'll set them up, sort of put the pot, over the fire. Got just my pack over here. Tell you what, this saw here, this thing is freaking awesome. See if I can open it right quick. Yeah, I've used that. Hell, I've used that way more than a machete. Especially for the fall and the winter. It's a lot more useful than a machete, I find. So, freaking rain was dripping down those logs because the tarp just ends right there, so I had to bust out a freaking heavy duty garbage bag, tape it up, some duct tape, Gorilla tape. Ran out of tape too. I've run out of paracord and tape. Oh, and then I kind of patched this wall a little bit, as you can see, with some mud and some thatch. Worked really well, actually, really easy. Got kind of lazy, just stuck a t-shirt up in there for now. It's getting cold, I don't not too motivated to get all of my hands up into some cold mud, cold wet mud when it's cold like this. Got it organized, got some books. That sleeping bag, man, that's like a heavy fill down. Tell you what, that thing is a lifesaver. I would not want to be out here in the cold without something like that. I mean, it's like you know, you need something like that. It's warm in there, really. Toasty. This we had a slant here. You know, I'm in the Appalachian Mountains, and you know, everything's slanted just about. It's up, down, up, down. It's hard to find flat areas. So anyways, what I did, I took a little shovel I have, I kind of dug out a little hole here. And then I put the dirt from the hole down here, kind of made a little mound, just to kind of build it up, flatten it out. And then we took this nice evergreen branch and branches and put them all down there. So ticket. Got this wall going. Pretty cool. Busted some, you know, little tape there for some framing. Gorilla tape, man. I tell you, it's little things like that that make a big difference. You know, I use that Gorilla tape on this Mylar. Definitely a handy survival item. Good duct tape. I actually go for a Gorilla tape. It's a little stronger. Put the evergreen branches in there, but it's still, you know, some wind was coming through because it's, you know, got some holes in it, obviously. Plenty of firewood. Put the, I like to put that at the bottom, you know, holds it down. Got a little table. It was already a stump. In fact, that's the top of it right there. It's not like I chopped a tree down just for that. It was already a stump, and just sawed a nice flat thing and pull that chair up and sit on the table with my frickin' stew in the pot. Tell you what, this chair, man, this thing is the bomb right here. It's so nice to be able to sit in a chair, you know, and it folds up really kind of small, you know, pretty light. Folds up like I just strap it to the back of the pack. The chair is the ticket. Put a bunch of food in here. I got it double layered. You know, I tie them both at the end of the night separately into knots just to keep the animals out. I mean, I don't know if that's something I'd recommend, but you know, that's what I've been doing. So far, so good. Bears and even like a mouse or a raccoon, I just don't want. I don't think smell would actually go through this heavy duty. My freaking hands are kind of cut up. Usually I don't wear band-aids, but I sliced it pretty decently. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, put a good knot on them, double layered. That's 3 mil. That's like extra heavy duty. Usually it's like 2 mil or something. That's 3 mil. That's another underrated survival item, is a heavy duty garbage bag. I usually bring like 5 or something. Got a towel. Water, you know, nothing special. Boil the water in that, pour it in that, then boil some more. Poured some in there again. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's getting cold, so I went ahead and busted out the heavy-duty garbage bag for this wall. Instead of trying to build it more, I guess I get kind of lazy, you know. Didn't feel like putting a bunch more evergreen branches. So I just, so I've used all the heavy-duty garbage bags now. I always like to put kind of some leaves, you know, a pile of leaves sort of at the bottom and stuff. usually if I make like a lean-to or an A-frame, I'll put them on the sides, you know, on top of the tarp. Why not? Oh yeah, these things here, these logs, they're just leaning tight against these live trees. Oh. So yeah, the rain was coming down. It was pouring like under, because the tarp just ends right there, and it's a little bit slanted. You can see that water was just coming like that and then coming in the shelter. So I extended the tarp with a garbage bag, duct taped it on the top and the bottom. Not rocket science, I guess. Got the I notch the wood so that the cord stays in one place, you know. It's a good technique. Just saw a little notch there so the cord, otherwise it would slide up, you know. Got the old pebble or stick tied trick. I was going to I hammered that in pretty good. The deal here, I was gonna like bend it and like tie it up like that, but it just didn't seem like there's any point to it, and it's not even touching most of the logs anyways. It was some extra structure, but I don't think it turned out it wasn't really gonna work. So bada boom, tons of firewood. See, it's a hill. I'm right on a hill, kind of. The creek is like 100 yards down the hill. Got tons of freaking fire material. All of his tree was in the way or something of the shelter, so I cut down a live branch, turns into some nice kindling and tinder for after it dries out. So, just chilling. Saw a bunch of pigs run through. Some deer, some mushrooms. Ate some puffballs, some oyster mushrooms. Which I don't recommend you eat any mushrooms unless you know what it is, because they can be deadly poisonous. Oh yeah, I like to bring out gallon water jugs to collect my water in. Works really well. Just strap them to the back of the pack and walking around barefoot, no problem. You'd think it'd be hard, you know. You think occasionally you do step on something, but most of the time it's actually really easy and smooth. So just wanted to show some things about the shelter, maybe give you some ideas about maybe how to make something. You know, just took a pole, sapling there, put a point on it, stuck it down on the ground. Just a little tape. It's not even that strong really, you know, but it holds it, and then tape the Mylar to that. It's more of a wind block than anything. Oh yeah, we got the mushroom taking a spore print. Trying to. Took one the other day. Look what we got. That's a good one there. That one's like white. And that one's super heavy brown. Those are like white. I should have drawn a black spot. That one's. So, let's see this one. It's not really doing much. It's been there for like 2 days. This camera sucks. I gotta get a real camera. I think it's a quart. It feels kind of purpley, sticky. Alright, well, you know, it was cold. I felt like it kind of exposed, you know. I was gonna build a wall here on this side, just like I have on this side, but it's kind of a lot of work actually, and it's a lot easier to just. Plus I felt it's too far away. It's not really a winter shelter, like it's kind of a fall, spring shelter, I guess. But yeah, I just felt exposed, you know. So I put these Mylar sheets up. They help a lot. They block the wind. That's mostly. So, fire. Keep the fire going for days. Put like some big ass logs on it so it keeps embers alive while you sleep, usually. Sometimes it doesn't work, but alright, well, pretty cool. It's getting cold. I mean, the cold weather is not very pleasant and wet, especially when it gets cold and wet, because I think it's like some Arctic freaking polar vortex came through the other day. It had been warm, and then all of a sudden it just got like ice cold almost. And I could tell the clouds were blowing in from the north. And then it was raining. So I was like, what the? You get it. That can be dangerous. You gotta be careful, you know. That can be dangerous. I think that's the #1 cause of death in the wilderness, is cold. Cold and wet, especially, and windy. So you gotta be careful. When it's warm, you can kind of just hang loose, like, you know. But man, you gotta be careful, especially at night. You get cold and wet. If your shelter were to fall down or something, and it's raining, if a freaking wind, some strong wind came and, you know, tore down your roof in the middle of the night, you could be in a world of hurt. That could be deadly, even. So. The leaves are changing. Gotta check for deadwood, widowmakers, and so forth. Checked this area pretty good. There wasn't anything dead. I mean, a live tree could always fall too, I guess, but so. Alright, well, can't see if the camera's on my face. I guess it is. And guess that's the end of the video. Hope I didn't forget. I was thinking like a couple of days what I was gonna say, you know, like mention this, mention that. But I don't know. Then when you make the video, it's kind of different, you know. So I imagine in my head, okay, but then when you actually do it, it's always different. Anything you imagine and then you do it, it's always some difference, you know. So probably gonna leave in a few days. I got about a week's worth of food left. It's getting cold, and kind of want to go fishing down there. There's a little lake, little pond thing, but I've been working on the shelter and stuff, and it's cold, and it's kind of warming up now. But thank God. I mean, we had a couple days of some clear sun. The days are short too. That's another thing, you know. Towards the wintertime, days are short. You don't have a lot of sunlight, you know. In the nights, you can't do anything at night. I mean, I do have a headlamp, but I just don't even feel like reading most of the time. I just want to go lay down, go to sleep or something. But I got mixed feelings, you know. The winter and the warm weather and the cold weather, they each have their ups and downs. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment. I'm open to suggestions and so forth. Party on, buddy.